Let's see if I even remember what I read in April, because hello and welcome back to the book side of the internet. My name is Kristen. Thank you for joining me here. Today we're talking about my April wrap up. I read 12 books, I want to say, in the month of April, and we're just gonna chat about it a little bit, my thoughts, my ratings, and if you should read it. Alright, so let's just get into it. The first book that I picked up in April was The Mystery of Black Hollow Lane by Julia Noble. I've talked about I've talked about this book multiple times, I feel like, on here, and so you pretty much know what it's about, but I'll give you one more summary and then my final thoughts on it. The Mystery of Black Hollow Lane follows Emmy, whose dad disappeared years ago, and her mom is like some big famous person and sends Emmy to a school in England to like make herself look good. And there Emmy finds out that her dad actually went to that school and that there's a secret society that he may have been mixed up in, which could be part of why he disappeared. I think that was a pretty good description because my past descriptions haven't been that good. When I finished this, I was like, oh my god, that's such a good middle grade, and 5 out of 5 stars. Looking back on it, it was a good book. It was very entertaining. The plot twists were there / kind of predictable, but like it's a middle grade, so I would hope I could kind of predict it because it's middle grade. But looking back, it's probably more of like a 4.5, but like I would still round that up to a 5. It was amazing. I know Amari and the Night Brothers has been going around a lot on YouTube recently, and I thought it was better than Amari and the Night Brothers. So if you liked Amari and the Night Brothers, I think you might like to pick up The Mystery of Black Hollow Lane. 5 out of 5 stars. Moving on. I feel like April was a pretty good reading month for me now that I'm looking back on it, because next up I have another 5-star read, Ace of Spades. I have an entire video dedicated to this book. It's an arc that comes out June 1st, and I could not tell you to pre-order this hard enough because I enjoyed this book so much. Everyone needs to read it. I'm not going to talk about it too much besides the fact that it was 5 stars, and I'll link the video in the cards and down below in the description box. Go watch that video so that you can be hyped up. June 1st. You need to read this book. Pre-order this book. They have a Fairy Loot, I want to say, Fairy Loot box coming out. Or is it Bookish box? I'll flash on the screen what it is. There's a box coming out dedicated to it that's like not even that much more expensive than pre-ordering just the book. So if you want little goodies that comes with your book and it's like a whole experience, I would say check that out and pre-order Ace of Spades because it was literally amazing. Next up, I picked up a romance trilogy because romance has been my ride or die. When I wasn't reading as much over the years, I was always on my books app reading romance because it's so easy to get through, and it's literally, I feel like, the most take you out of the real world book, if that makes any sense. Like, romances literally make me forget the real world exists, and I'm just like in love with the characters. So with that being said, I got suggested this series off of TikTok by Pauline at The Books I've Loved. You should go check her out because she always has good romance recommendations. So I picked up the Flock trilogy by Kate Stewart. Okay, starts off with Flock. Let me tell you, I knew zero about this book going in, which we know I like to do nowadays. I knew literally nothing, and I was surprised, but in the 100% best way. Like enemies to lovers romance, but without the fantasy part. Does that make any sense? It is crazy. How do I even explain this book to you? So this follows a girl named Cecilia who goes to move in with her deadbeat dad, who she hasn't talked to in years. I don't remember. Oh, so that she can get a settlement for her mom because they've been poor all their life, and he's rich, and she wants to be rich for her mom, right? I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's basically what it is. He lives in a small town, and it also has like mafia vibes. Like, she gets tangled up in some things, some secrets, and that's all you really need to know for you to pick up this series. I gave every book in the series 5 stars. This middle book definitely is my favorite. It had me shaking in my boots, some might say. Literally don't know what else to say to make you read this book, but these books, but read them. I love that for me. Next book that I picked up was The Lightning Thief, but the graphic novel by Rick Riordan, and then adapted by Robert Venditti. art by Attila Futaki, color by Jose Villarrubia. This was sent to me by the amazing Diana from the Citadel. I love you, girl. Yeah, so I read this in one day just because I wanted the vibe, the feelings from The Lightning Thief. Always those things going around asking what your core books are, like what made you the reader you are today, and Percy Jackson series has definitely been that for me. It got me back into reading last year, and so I don't know, I always have like so like nostalgic vibes when I read the Percy Jackson series. Percy Jackson and the Olympians follows Percy, who finds out that he's a demigod, and he goes on quests to save the world. And this is the graphic novel version. I feel like it followed the story pretty well, and so I really appreciate that. And the art really just took it over the top. Like, look at the blue. I don't know, man. I loved it. Also, when I read Percy Jackson, Grover was black. And I don't know if that's just me. So, like, when I saw that in the movie, I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. But then everybody else was like, no, he's not black. And I was like... So let me know if you think when you read Percy Jackson, was he black or was he white? So next books that I finished were my babies, my all-time favorites, From Blood and Ash and A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire for my reread before The Crown of Gilded Bones. Obviously 5 stars. I have a video on these as well. Link and link. If you want to see me geek out over this, it's all there because I was freaking out when I read this book, and it gave me more appreciation for Jennifer L. Armentrout with all of the foreshadowing. Was literally insane. And then also, how good does a book have to be for me to reread it and still love it / love it more the second time around? Also, let's hear it for the back of the dress, aka the tabs. Please. Let's hear it for the back of the dress. Yes. Oh my god. I love these books with my whole heart. These are... Percy Jackson is my core. This is my next core book. This has made me into the person I am today. No. But yeah, I love From Blood and Ash series so much. I don't even know if you guys want to hear me talk about it anymore at this point, but it's true. So that obviously was leading up to The Crown of Gilded Bones, which I stand by that this is the most beautiful cover that I've ever seen in my life. Don't even try to change my mind because you won't. Also had fun tabbing this one. Let's focus. Had a lot of fun tabbing this one. Had a lot of fun recording my reactions. Check that video out because it is a time. It is very much a time, and I already want to reread this. I might reread this in May. I told Alda I'd read with her, but she hasn't been picking it up, so I think she hates me. I have nothing else to say, but I love it, and obviously they were all 5 million stars. Literally broke the scale because I love them so much. After The Crown of Gilded Bones, I wanted to pick up something that was easy to read because I didn't want to read another fantasy and it be knocked down stars because I was still in like The Crown of Gilded Bones like hangover. So I finished actually Pages & Co. The Book Wanderers by Anna James. Pages & Co. follows Tilly Pages, who finds out that characters from books can visit her in the real world and she can visit their stories. And then we also follow her as she tries to figure out the disappearance of her mother, who was also a book wanderer. This was very cute. It was very slow in the beginning and I kind of lost my interest, which is why I could have finished this book in one day, but it just wasn't doing it for me. So I ended up giving this book 3 stars. It's a very cute story. The premise was really what kept me going because how interesting for you to be able to visit the stories of like characters that I would love to visit Hawk and Poppy. I wouldn't like to visit their world, but I like to visit them. They can visit me in my world. So that's what I was like, that is such a cool premise. I had very high hopes for it, which might have been a problem. And it was like really good in the beginning. I started tabbing it, but just didn't stick with me, you know? So 3 stars, still very good read, still an average rating. So if you're looking for a good middle grade, I'd say Mystery of Black Hollow Lane, but also this one is very cute. Book number 11 for April was Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. So this was a book club read for the Citadel. and it was a time. Stalking Jack the Ripper follows Audrey, whose uncle does autopsies. I don't know what the official name for that is, but there you go. And she wants to do that when she grows up. But since this is set in old times, it is unacceptable for women to be wanting to do things like that. So her father is on her case, like, you can't do that. And her brother doesn't want her to do it, but she's gonna do it. And it follows her as they come across a string of serial killer murders. And they're trying to figure out who the serial killer is. And that's what it is. That's the story. And they try to figure out who did it and why, and put them behind bars / I think they actually just killed they might just kill them at that point. Anyways, this was a 3-star for me. Like, it kept me interested for the most part, but the plot twist didn't do it for me, and like I knew who the murderer was within like the first couple of chapters. So 3 stars. Still pretty interesting, and I have nothing really bad to say about it besides it could have been a little faster paced and the last 100 pages were unnecessarily long. So next up, and my favorite after the From Blood and Ash series, of course, was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have been very wary of picking up overhyped books, but I decided to finally give this a shot because it's so many people's favorites. And I got this for my cousin's birthday in August, and she is not a reader. I was like, I'm gonna convert everyone into readers. And she actually really enjoyed it and was like, okay, give me another book to read. And so I was like, if I can get her to read and she's not a reader just because of this book, then it means that it's time for me to pick it up. So I picked it up, and I was literally in love. I was scared at first because the words are a little small. I don't know if you can see that. Hello. The words are a little small on the page, so I was like, it might take a minute for me to get through, but I read this in 2 days, I want to say, and it was fast-paced and beautiful. And now let me tell you what it was about. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo follows a reporter as she writes a book for Evelyn Hugo, and she gets told Evelyn Hugo's life story, and there's a plot twist at the end that'll leave you like, what? Because I was not expecting it at all. Like, how would you even have a plot twist in a book like this? I don't know. It was amazing. 5 stars. I love it, and I can definitely see myself rereading this book in the future because it was that good. Thank you guys so much for watching my April wrap-up. I hope you enjoyed hearing me ramble. I stumbled over my words. I rambled on. I hope this makes some kind of cohesive video for you guys. Leave a like down below if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you want to see more content by me. Other than that, watch all the videos that I linked down in the comments because this has been like one of my best reading months so far this year. There were so many 5 stars, and I'm just in love with life right now. Of the 12 books that I read this month, 9 of them were 5 stars. And I don't know if that says something about my rating or about the books that I've read this month, but I really had the best reading month in April, and I'm so happy, and I'm hoping to continue the trend on in May. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Mwah. You know, I feel like today is just not my day to film because I'm rambling on so much. Stalking Jack the Ripper. Please make this a video that is worthy of posting.